I used to plan every calorie. 5:47 a.m. runs. Meal prep containers lined up like soldiers. Size 4 jeans. Total control. Then, one bite of Fred's carbonara changed everything. It was my second week at the Portland office when he appeared beside my desk, warm brown eyes, rumpled shirt, holding a container that smelled like heaven itself. "That looks very healthy," Fred said, nodding at my portioned chicken and broccoli. He sat down uninvited with his grandmother's carbonara. Steam rose between us, carrying the scent of cream and cheese and something that smelled like love translated into food. "Want to try some?" I should have said no. I had my macros to hit, my routine to maintain. But I nodded. The pasta touched my tongue and I closed my eyes. Creamy, salty, rich, perfect. "Oh," I whispered. Fred grinned. "Right? Food shouldn't just be fuel, Olivia. It should make you say, oh." That was the first bite. I didn't know then there would be hundreds more. 3 days later, Fred cooked pad see ew in my apartment. I ate until I was actually full, not meal plan full, but truly satisfied. Something wound tight in my chest began to loosen. My 5:47 a.m. run became 6 a.m. became I'll go tomorrow. Fred showed up with groceries and that smile. We'd cook together, or rather, he'd cook while I chopped vegetables and stole bites and laughed. "Try this," he'd say. "Always try this. Taste that. Just one more bite." And I did. Every time. Week 12. My size 4s wouldn't zip. I bought size 8s and told myself bodies change. I was happy. That's what mattered. Instagram noticed first. "Looking healthy. Love weight looks good on you. Girl, you're glowing and growing." My coworker in the elevator. "Someone's been enjoying Portland's food scene." I stopped posting photos. Stopped looking at old ones. Bought new clothes, and told myself it didn't matter. Fred loved me, he hadn't said it yet, but I could taste it in every meal. 6 months in, my brother got married in Seattle. Family reunion. I was navigating the reception when my cousin grabbed my arm. "Come upstairs. Mom just got one of those fancy smart scales. We're all doing it, it's hilarious." My stomach dropped. "I don't think." "Come on, it'll be fun." The bathroom was crowded with cousins laughing, comparing numbers like a game. When my turn came, I stepped on. The number flickered. 167 pounds. I stared at it, read it again. 67 pounds. In 6 months. Someone laughed, not unkindly. "Wow, Olivia. Love weight, really." I walked out. Through the reception. Straight to my car. Would you stay if love was making you lose yourself? Comment boundaries if you'd fight for yourself, or stay if you'd choose the relationship. Fred found me 20 minutes later, hands shaking on the steering wheel. "Hey." He slid into the passenger seat. "What happened?" 67 pounds. I whispered. He was quiet. Then? "So?" I turned to stare at him. "So? So you've gained weight. You're still you. You're still beautiful." He reached for my hand. "You're still the woman I'm completely in love with." There it was, the words I'd been waiting for. Instead of joy, I felt something cold settle in my stomach. "Fred, I don't recognize myself anymore." "That's not true. I don't run, I don't meal prep, I don't know who I am without my routines." My voice cracked. "I'm terrified I've lost myself trying to make you happy." The silence was deafening. "Is that what you think?" His voice turned sharp. "That I've been forcing you? Because every meal I made, you ate willingly. You smiled. You said it was delicious." "That's not what I cook because I love you, Olivia. It's the only way I know how." He opened the car door. "I'm sorry, that's not good enough." He left. And I sat there wearing a size 14 dress, weighing 167 pounds, with my heart breaking and absolutely no idea what came next. 3 days of silence. On the 4th day, Fred appeared at my door. Dark circles under his eyes. "Holding groceries." "I can't," I said before he could speak. "Fred, I can't keep eating like this." "I know." He set the bag down. "Can I come in?" We sat on my couch, miles between us. "I've been thinking about what you said." His voice was rough. "About losing yourself. And you're right. But not for the reasons you think." He looked down at his hands that had fed me for 6 months straight. "My mom left right after dinner one night." His voice cracked. "Just stood up from the table and walked out. Never came back." "Oh." My dad cooked every night after that. Like if he just made the meals good enough, filling enough, she might come back. Fred's eyes were wet. She never did. He died when I was 24, still cooking for 2 people even though he always ate alone. The pieces clicked into place, the elaborate meals, the constant just one more bite. The way he watched me eat like he was memorizing it. I'm terrified, he continued, that if I stop cooking, if I stop feeding you, you'll leave too. That I'm not enough without it. I reached for his hand. I fell in love with you, Fred. Not your carbonara. You. But you're not happy, you're not yourself, and I did that. We're both drowning, I said. You in your fear of being left. Me in trying to be someone I'm not. So what do we do? I took a breath. This was it. The moment everything changed or ended. We set boundaries. Real ones. We cook together. Healthy things that still taste good. I move my body again, but not obsessively. And you. I squeezed his hand. You trust that I'm staying because I want to, not because the food is good. His face went through a dozen emotions. Fear. Resistance. Hope. Doubt. What if I can't do it? What if I cook and then can't stop myself from pushing seconds? What if? Then we'll figure it out, together. We started that night. Fred found a therapist who specialized in food and attachment. I found one for control and body image. We cooked together salmon with roasted vegetables. It didn't quite work. We laughed. We tried again. We went on walks instead of me running alone. We found ways to say, I love you, without marinara sauce. But it was hard. God. It was so hard. 3 months in, we'd found a rhythm. Most days. One evening, Fred showed up with ingredients for his grandmother's carbonara, the dish from that very first day. I thought. He looked uncertain. I thought maybe we could make it together, not as a test. Just because I miss sharing it with you. We cooked it side by side. He showed me the technique, when to add the eggs, how his grandmother would finish with black pepper. We plated it, reasonable portions. We sat down. I took a bite. There it was, that same, oh. Good? Fred asked, watching me carefully. So good. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Do you want more? There's plenty. And I was thinking. Fred. He stopped. I saw it, that old fear flickering across his face. That desperate need to feed me, to keep me full and therefore keep me here. His hand moved toward the serving bowl. Then he stopped. Put his fork down. Took a breath. Okay, he said, okay. Me running in the Portland rain, smiling. Fred in therapy, nodding at something his therapist said. Us cooking together, bumping hips, laughing. My scale showing 152 pounds, I step off and shrug. Fred plating normal portions, closing the leftover container without offering it. Us holding hands on my balcony, watching the city. We weren't fixed, but we were trying. Some days were easy, some days the old panic returned for both of us, but we kept showing up. Last Sunday, we drank smoothies on my balcony. The sun broke through the Portland clouds. We're doing okay, aren't we? Fred asked. I thought about the year we'd had. The tears, the therapy, the terrifying conversations. The weight, lost and gained. The love learned and relearned. We're doing okay, I agreed. But we're not fixed. No, I admitted. I don't think we'll ever be completely fixed. He took my hand. Is that enough? I looked at him, this man, who was trying every single day to be better. Even when every instinct told him to make one more dish, offer one more bite. I looked at myself, this woman, learning that control wasn't the same as health. That somewhere between restriction and indulgence was a life worth living. Yeah, I said. It's enough. And I meant it. Most days, I meant it. Because love isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up when you're broken. It's about trying, even when you fail. Fred squeezed my hand. I squeezed back. The future stretched out before us. Uncertain and imperfect and beautiful. We're not fixed. But we're trying. Is that enough? Please subscribe to our channel for more weight gain stories.